Guys, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to the show. I'm joined in studio with the man himself, Dennis the Menace Frimpong. How are you? How's everything?
Good man, good. Nice little Sunday afternoon. Can't
Yes, yes,
complain.
yes. So look, another fight is in the works now. It's not going to be too long. Just think about a fortnight now, 2 weeks away. Octagon 68, and you're going to be going up against a tough opponent, Robin Frank. He's undefeated and he is a lightweight champion coming from Cage MMA. But what do you make of your opponent, rather?
Yeah, he's undefeated. Bit of a prospect in Germany. Um, I'm not undefeated, but I think I've had tougher tests in my career so far than he has. Um, Obviously I've had like that split decision loss in my pro debut against Babacar Niang. A loss that I would still contest. I didn't lose. Maybe could have made it a bit more dominant to not allow the judges to have that sort of sway. But it's one that I would like to run back as well at some point. And obviously, I've got a loss against George in the fourth round. George is a top prospect coming out of the UK. A much better fighter, I believe, than Robin Frank is. And I'm a much better fighter than I was when I fought George. So, yeah, I'm not really too concerned about what Robin Frank's accolades are or what people think about him. I'm going in there to do my job, which is to try and put him in the hospital.
I like that you're trolling him, or you're trolling him already, kind of. Um, how's fight camp? How's it going? Preparations and everything else?
Yeah, good. Good. Feel strong, feel sharp, feel fit, ready. No injuries for once. Blessings from God for this camp that I've not got any injuries. Obviously, Alhamdulillah for everything. Um, and March 8th, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to put a clinical performance together. They take this guy out, take his momentum off him, take his O, take his fans, and then come back home with a pocket full of money.
What has happened between now and your last Octagon MMA fight? I mean, I've listened to the interviews you had across the podcasting and media side of things. Um, what is what exactly has happened? I mean, I've heard of what you said, but I mean, if it means anything, a lot of the fights the opponents did that Octagon put in front of you for the past fights that you had before this one, you've beaten most of those opponents. And so why is it that was it what happened basically in the relationship between you and themselves? Why you left and then they brought you back?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I am 4-1 in Octagon now. I'm 4 wins, one loss. Again, that loss being to George, who's also undefeated in Octagon. He's 5-0 in Octagon. So, um, yeah, it was just a breakdown of communications, to be honest. There was a third party involved in the communications. That party is no longer involved. Um, and that's it. That's all it was. It was just a breakdown of communications, and you know, definitely a bit of my ego on my side, maybe a bit of ego on their side, but we managed to put all those things aside and just talk about business and what it's really down to at the end of the day, which is me getting fights and them getting a person who can sell fights and deliver good performances. So
And it's something that really pisses me off. Your last fight at PC FC2 back in December, your opponent, and it should have been a really, really entertaining bout between the two of you, pulled out, and then you ended up with an amateur, being saddled with an amateur. And I don't think that was you won the bout, but I think for you, I think it felt more like a downgrading sort of thing. You were really had your eyes set on taking out your proper professional opponent, but instead they gave you an amateur. I mean, did you find out why the guy kind of pulled out at what feels like or felt like the dying minute?
no, all I know is I made weight for the fight, and then that day he pulled out. Didn't get I don't get any reason about it. Um, I was looking forward to a tough test against him. I feel like I was levels ahead of him in terms of the striking, But in terms of the grappling, he was a fourth degree or third degree black belt, been black belt for years, good lineage of jiu-jitsu. So thought, yeah, he has ways he could beat me. It's going to be a tough test, but look, like, I can't control things that are out of my control. I showed up on the day. I did what I was supposed to do. I got in the cage and I fought who was put in front of me, and that's all I can do at the end of the day. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to do for the rest of my career. I'm just going to show up and fight whoever they put in front of me. And it doesn't matter if that person is a lower level than me, a higher level than me. I believe there is no higher level than me. I am the highest level. Everyone is a lower level than me. So, you know, fucking bring them all on. I'm not arsed.
There are some fighters that I do know outside of the UK, then they're on the US scene, and they're equally like yourself. They've been signed to a big major promoter within the combat sports, within the mixed martial arts realm. But one of the things that I've noticed is that they definitely, if they were to be put in octagon and if they fought, it would be a very entertaining fight to watch. But for some reason, the promotion just keeps delaying and dragging their heels with getting them a fight, getting something going, getting something in the pipeline. I mean, and I know this is you're not them, but you kind of had like a similar situation, could I say? Why is that? Because I do kind of feel a bit sorry for them that you kind of wasting your time and your talent there. You could be going places, but instead someone's holding you back. I just thought I'd be honest in my questioning.
I can't speak for anyone else's situation. I can only speak for my own. I've resolved my issue. I'm here with Octagon now. I'm signed. I have a fight in 2 weeks. I can't speak for anyone else's situation with any other promotion, so I don't really know what their situation is or what's going on with them.
Sure thing. Yeah. You did mention that the fight scene over in continental Europe is quite different to what it's like here in the UK and in Ireland, especially let's say between the UK and Ireland. Um, I've seen some situations whereby I think you said that when you fight in the UK, once they've seen their fighters fight, whatever the outcome is after they turn and leave, but in Ireland they'll stay and watch the whole card, especially if their fighters on the fight card.
What you mean in terms of like the crowd or like
That
in
yeah,
terms of
that's it. The crowds, the fight
yeah.
fans.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, like obviously with Octagon, I can't speak again on other promotions or what they're like, but with Octagon, I feel like I've been to shows over there with Octagon just as a viewer. I've never fought over there yet. I will do in a couple of weeks. That'll be my first one. But whenever I've been to shows over there to watch, it's like the crowds have paid for Octagon. They've come to see Octagon,
Yeah.
and they might be a fan of like a David Cosma or whatever, or a Carlos Ramola, but they've come to watch the whole card. They've just come for it's like a day out for them. They brought the kids, the whole lot. It's like a day out. So they're staying for they're getting their money's worth. Where I feel like in the UK, a lot of the time, people will come to watch whoever they want to watch, like whoever they came to see, like would be their family member, their mate, their a fighter that they're a fan of, and then they'll kind of get off after that fight's done. So unless that fight's on the main card or the main event, um, a lot of the crowd will be gone unless the main event is a big ticket seller. Um, which is what I feel like Octagon underestimated when they first came over to the UK. I do feel like it's different in Ireland. I feel like Irish fans will watch any Irish fighter, to be honest.
Yeah, you hinted on that a lot in a lot of the past interviews I listened to. That it's one of the reasons why I think why Octagon have found it quite difficult to break into the UK market or so.
Yeah.
Um, so look, any last messages you have for your opponent at all? Uh,
I mean, it won't be last messages. I'm going to see him at the press conference. So I guess have a good rest of your camp, mate, and yeah, just be ready. Storm's coming.
Any idea what you like to say for, well, not say, but are you preparing yourself well for the trash talking? Because I know you can give really good as you get back.
I'm gonna give what I get. If he wants to keep it respectful, we can keep it respectful. But yeah, at the end of the day, whether I say anything or I don't say anything, we're gonna be locked in that cage, on the evening of the 8th of March, regardless. And I'll be talking to him in the cage. So
You did mention to me earlier whilst we were conversating on Instagram that you do want to start like a program to persuade youths in the UK just to keep 'em out of knife crime. I mean, how's that going, or is it something that's still in the works?
um, it's more not even that it's a program. It's more so like I'm trying to I try to instill good values in some of the kids that I coach, some of the kids that I teach, whether I do PTs with them or I coach them in the classes. Just trying to give them discipline through martial arts. And it's having that sort of routine and discipline and knowing that there's consequences for actions and stuff like that. That you don't need to go out there with a knife or you don't need to go out there, with whatever and be on thinking that you're bad because at the end of the day, you could think you're bad when the knives and the guns and all that other shit's put away and it's just you and no weapons, no mates, you and another human being. There's a load of little nerds that you think are nerds that will wrap you up and strangle you unconscious. So,
Yeah, no, definitely. I, I've almost forgot to ask, how are things at the gym, Manchester top team?
yeah, good. Obviously, everyone's on a good wave. Rising tide raises all ships. We've got big wins coming in already this year. A lot more big things to come for the rest of the year. Last year was a big year for us. This year is going to be even bigger, and we're going to go stride for stride. And yeah, I imagine the next few years is going to be we're going to be talked about as one of the top teams in the world, which I already believe we are, but we're going to show the world that we are.
Dennis, well, last but not by no means least, any shout outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, obviously shout out all my sponsors that helped me with the camp. Shout out to my team. Shout out to my coaches. Shout out to my teammates. Um, yeah, shout out to Octagon for getting me on the card, giving me the platform. Um, yeah, shout out to be fair, shout out to my opponent Robin Frank for taking the fight when a lot of people wouldn't. There was a lot of back and forth with different opponents pulling out and stuff like that. So fair play to him for accepting the fight, putting his undefeated record on the line when a lot of other people would have used my record as an excuse. He's not using that as an excuse. He's coming to have a fight. So fair play to him.
Well, Dennis, thank you for coming on the show. I'm very grateful to catch up with you, and definitely be having you back on the show very, very soon. Guys,
Appreciate
if
it.
you guys, if you listen to the whole episode on YouTube, please don't forget to hit the like button or the subscribe button. It really helps the platform grow when you do that. You can also catch the audio versions of the episode on Spotify, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Dennis, once again, thank you so much.
Appreciate it, lad. Nice one.